Hi, this is Champlet 2 on the PlayStation Network. This series of videos will show all of the preps, setups, and finales of Act 1, 2, and 3 of the Doomsday Heist. After doing this heist a few times, I've noticed how difficult it is to follow the storyline while shooting and trying to stay alive. So that's what inspired me to make these videos, to allow you to watch it almost like a movie. I'll make every effort not to talk over the heist story dialogue so you can hear what the story is all about. I'll offer some basic information about the heist missions, but this will not be a tips and tricks video for the Doomsday Heist. This video features the Act 3 preps, and you can skip ahead to each specific prep mission using the times in the video description if you'd like. There's also a playlist on my channel, so you can watch all of the preps, setups, and finale of Act 3 all together, as well as Act 1 and Act 2. As you see here on the planning board, the first setup, Rescue Agent 14, requires the completion of 2 preps, Marked Cache and RECON. We'll start first with a look at the prep, Marked Cache. I'm going to skip over a little bit of this load time because it's very long in a public session.
Get out of there! We need to steal a big bag of cash from the FIB sting operation, preferably before the real crooks show up. Agent 14's been kidnapped and we need this money to buy him back before he's sold off to Avon. You got that? Glad someone does. I still can't believe Avon is a bad guy. A real bad guy, like a proper bad guy, not just reasonably unpleasant and vaguely immoral like us, but awful, like fuck him and that AI for making us look like idiots. That's the last time I become friends with a rich sociopath and his pet robot and expect things to turn out well. God damn it! Oh, I want Avon and Clifford to die!
You have 3 options for the prep missions. You can complete them in a public session, or you can steal the prep items from other players in the session, or you can purchase each of the prep items. If you want to bring friends with you to complete the preps, you have to hire them before you start the prep mission, because there's no option to invite them once you've started it. If you choose to buy or steal the prep items and not do the prep missions, or to do the prep missions on your own solo, this will disrupt your all-in-order and loyalty awards progress.
I pulled an image of the money bag from the FIB files. Sending it through now. You're looking for a black duffel bag filled with money. I mean, a crew of bank robbers should be able to figure that one out.
If you're not trying to complete either the all-in-order or a loyalty challenge award, you can outsource the preps and pay for them. The host would have to pay $94,500 each. That's very expensive, and by the time you add it all up, it takes a big chunk of the money you'll earn in the whole act, because as the host, you're not paid for the setups and the preps, you're only paid for what you earn in the finale.
The FIB are on you. It was a sting. What do you expect? Lose the heat and bring the cash back here.
Once you've completed each act of the Doomsday Heist, you can do the preps and setups in any order as long as the required prep or preps have been completed for each setup. As the example with the first setup for Act 3, there are 2 preps that must be completed. I'm going to skip ahead here to save a little travel time.
Okay, you're in the clear. We can be friends again. Bring us our ransom money.
When you're doing prep missions, you can use your CEO vehicles. As you see here, I'm using my CEO Buzzard. I personally find them very, very handy, especially the Buzzard for the prep missions. You cannot use your CEO vehicles in the setups or the finales, but you can in the preps. And again, if you're doing the preps, they must be done in a public session. Either the host or an associate can hang behind and let the rest of the organization go out and complete the prep mission if you'd like. Sometimes that can save you a bit on travel time. Just remember Don't leave your character unattended, or else if police or attackers are attacking one of your organization, they'll probably attack you all. That's it for this prep, and here's a follow-up message from Lester when you're done.
Okay, we've got the money, thank you, FIB. Now you just need to take a look at where the exchange will take place, and you'll be ready to buy yourselves an agent.
The second prep that is required for the first setup, Rescue Agent 14, is Prep Recon. And I'm going to skip the load time here just to move the video along.
Okay, head down there. I need you to take some photographs of the place Merryweather wants to do this deal. The Pacific Allied Shipyard. Hey, I don't know how you feel, but in my, I would now say, pretty long experience of doing deals, they've got a tendency of going wrong. Actually, they all go wrong, so we want to know the ins and outs of the place for when, surprise, surprise, the inevitable happens.
I'm going to skip the flight time and get right down here. Now be careful when you're coming in, especially if you're flying. Don't land your helicopter too close to the main gate because that will blow your cover and blow the mission, and you'll have to start over. There's no penalty for starting over, it just takes you longer. So you'll see here I'm running up now to the main gate.
Okay, I managed to pull some strings and get the place clear, but it won't be for long. Use the camera on your cell and send me some pics. Quick as you can, okay?
After you take this photo of the main gate, you'll get a button at the bottom that says Send to Lester. It's different depending on your platform. There it is right there. That'll automatically pull up your contacts. Just select Lester and it will send the photo directly to him. The rest of them are easier after this first one. He'll text you right back with a little information about the photo you just took in that particular location. So then you just go to the next location here at the north entrance. You take the photo, and then as soon as you do that and you hit, in the case of the PlayStation, the square, you're done. It sends him the picture. There's his response. And now we'll take a look at the west door, and I'm showing you all of these because the responses back from Lester are pretty useful for when you do another setup later in this heist. It's good to know some of this information about each of these doors. Like right there, he said that door may not be guarded. That is very helpful to know. I'm also showing you all these pictures, so a couple of them are a little bit tricky. If you don't take them from the right spot, he won't accept them. And you can see on the bottom right there that we have taken 4 of the 10 photos. This one is probably the most challenging to get to because you have to go all the way inside and all the way upstairs to get a photo of the upstairs room. And there's really not much to it. You just have to come up here, turn to the right, go, whoops, there's a pole there. Walk inside this big room and take a picture. That's about it. I believe a little bit later in this prep, Lester will tell us why we're taking these pictures. He's using these to prepare for an upcoming setup that we'll be doing here at the same location. So yes, he did mention there he's going to hack that server room upstairs. Now we'll come out this door and get a picture of the side door. And he's right, that door is handy for a quick exit. Then we'll get a picture here of the main interior. there will be some activity later in the setup up on those catwalks that go across as well. When you're doing the later setup mission, there will be helicopters out here, and they'll be dropping guys down on ropes, and they'll land right here on this water gate. So bear that in mind. And we have 2 more pictures to take. Now, I'll be honest, I don't recall, I've only done the other setup that takes place here in this location. I've only done it a handful of times so far, no more than 5 I think. I don't recall either this pier or the next area over here at the jetty even being involved in that setup, because once you leave this interior area, you're going to come outside and go around the side of this building. I'm not sure why he suggests that you may need an exit strategy going this way. Not familiar with that coming into play, but maybe that's just another way to do it that I haven't seen done yet. But that's it for all the pictures, and now all I have to do is get back to my vehicle and get out of here. So I'll skip ahead and jump in the buzzard I came in. And as soon as we're far enough away from here, that completes this prep. I sincerely believe this is the easiest of all the preps in all of the Doomsday Heist. And we should be just about done. No? There it is. Now we're done. Once that's complete, you'll get a little message from Lester about what's next.
Okay, I think those pics give us a good idea of the place. The light's not good, so you might need some goggles. When you're ready to do the agent swap, go collect the cash from planning.
The next prep is Prep Chernobog, and watch the map at the bottom left. You see how that small area of red spread out over the whole map? That's to indicate that this prep could take place anywhere on the map. And from one time you do this to the next, it could be a different location, as you'll see in this video.
You've got a location on your GPS. Merryweather are running a training exercise with a Chernobog missile launcher, which we'll need if you want to help that old IAA agent ULP get past Avon's hijacked defense network. So, get over there and take it.
I had to do a little editing and put 2 different attempts together here, because this one that would have taken place on the southeast part of the map didn't go so well. This one went a lot better, but I was missing the introductory dialogue there, so I just spliced these 2 together. But I wanted to take this opportunity to show you that they can take place in very different places on the map and not necessarily the same location twice. And now I'll skip ahead and get us to our ultimate destination.
These contractors will be heavily armed too, in addition to their deactivated missiles. Ever since things started heating up, they've been in post-apocalyptic mode. 2 contractors carrying railguns on every exercise. So maybe think about going for those 2 before moving on the launcher. And folks with enough firepower to down every plane in U.S. airspace are usually, in my experience, a little jumpy. So really think about it before you engage them.
As I've mentioned before, I sure do love taking the CEO buzzard on these prep missions, and here's a really good reason why. I could be down there dealing with these guys face to face, or I could be floating safely up here in the air, enjoying the beautiful skyline, and just shooting missiles and making them all go bye-bye. So I chose to do it this way, and it's very nice and easy. This is another case where I suppose I could do this by myself, but I did bring my teammate with me, and I'll have him fly the buzzard back and give me cover, because I will have some attackers coming after me on the way back. You just keep taking out all the guys down there, and once you're done, the driver of the Chernobog will jump out and you can take it.
The driver's out of the cab. Take it and run!
didn't want to shoot missiles too terribly close to the Chernobog. I think if you hit close to it and it sort of ricochets into it, you can blow it up or destroy it. You know, damage it so badly that you can't drive it. So I'm going to jump on in here, and my friend's going to take back our buzzard.
Go, 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 go! Bring the launcher to base! The missile system's deactivated, so don't even try it. Just bring it in!
As you just heard Lester say, the missiles are deactivated at this point, so even if you have some associates with you, they can't climb in there and learn how to work them. Unfortunately, your first opportunity to do that is during the later setup mission. And as you can see here, this thing is very grisly to drive. It's hard to control. It's like a bull in a china shop, and it's very, very slow. So I'm going to skip a lot of this very long drive back to the facility. And as I bring it in here, we'll pick up where there's more dialogue.
We stop Clifford, we stop Avon, we get paid. That's the game plan here. I'm not gonna get into the AI apocalypse and humanity's obsolescence. The money is all that matters for us.
And that's all there is to this prep. You just finished taking the Chernobog into your facility. You'll notice here at the moment this one is a dark army green. Later, when you use it in one of the setup missions, they will have upgraded it and it'll be sort of a sandy desert color for the setup mission. But this prep is complete, and when you're all done, the host will get another message from Lester.
Well, you could have brought that back in better shape. Okay, that's coming out of your pocket, not mine. The mechanic at the facility's gonna have to fix it up. Anyway, we're still better armed than most nation states, if only that was the end game. Come to planning when you want to move for that agent.
The next prep in Act 3 is Prep Flight Path. And once again, I'm going to skip over some of this load time because in a public room it can take up to 30 seconds.
Head over to that location. There's an arms dealer there we need you to find. We're trying to stop Avon or Clifford or whoever's calling the shots over there from arming themselves. They put an order in for a barrage, a heavily weaponized ATV, which we're going to intercept. You're paying a visit to the dealer, finding out how the order's being filled.
And I'm going to skip ahead on the travel time here and get us close to the guy we're looking for.
And what do you know? The dealer's got a mugshot on the LSPD database. Sending to your phone. When you get there, look for this guy and then follow him.
I'll open my little text message from Lester, and this is the guy we're coming to get. Now, I'll just be totally honest, we messed this one up. There was a much better way to do this, and we didn't realize it until it was too late. Ideally, what you need to do is get up to this guy and watch him, but don't get too close because then he'll see you. If you just watch him and you wait for him to walk away to someplace a little quieter that's not so crowded, you can just take the briefcase from him and walk away, and it's a piece of cake. However, we got a little too close to him and things didn't go according to plan, so now you can see what happens when you do that.
Got him? Okay, he's on the move. Stay close, but don't get detected. When he gets some... Oh crap, he made you! Get the case and lose the heat!
Lester cut off what he was saying to us when we alerted the guy, but what the text said there in the subtitles was if we had just waited until we got him somewhere quiet, we could have just taken the briefcase away from him. That would have been much, much easier than what we're about to go through.
Well, that's one way to do it. Lose the heat and get his case back.
Lester sounded a little cranky there. So my teammate goes over there and gets it, and we jump in this, let's just say borrowed car, but things didn't go so well with that car either, so when I skip ahead here, We've stolen another car, and now we're headed back to the facility. And one thing about the preps that is handy, you can call Lester and lose your wanted level very easily during the preps. We use that quite a bit. That's all there is to this one. Had we not alerted him, this would have been a breeze. And once you're in and completed, the host gets a message from Lester.
Okay, I think we might know how this crazy ATV is coming in. Go into planning when you want to make a move on it.
The next prep in Act 3, if we're just going through the list, is Prep Test Site Intel. And once again, I'm going to skip over the load time here and get you right to the action.
You've got an address. Head over there. Avon's engineering team is renting a house. We think they might be working on a stealth tank. It's not the kind of thing you want in the hands of a crazy AI or even in a tech entrepreneur, now that I think of it. And get over to the house and get information on where they're testing it. And look out. They've got guards.
Here's another great example of those prep missions that can take place just about anywhere on the map, and maybe not in the same place twice. But I'm going to jump in the buzzard here and take a look at where it is on the map, and thankfully it's not too far away. It's just over the hill here from my Lagos Zancudo facility. But in the interest of time and shortening this video, we'll skip ahead. Now, here's my disclaimer. We could have done this in a much better method, but we really didn't know. We'd only done it maybe 2 times before, and just didn't realize that Lester wanted us to come in quietly. He didn't tell me that until we'd already targeted him with the buzzard. So you'll hear him say in a minute, do things quiet. We should have just gone down there, shot him with suppressors, and got it done.
You're almost at this house. You'll need to take down the security detail before you enter. Do it quietly if you can. Save us the headache.
Well, Lester is certainly right. After he said that, we both remembered, oh yeah, we've done this quietly before, and it was so much easier. We didn't have a wanted level. Oh, nice jump. We didn't have a wanted level. We just came in here, dealt with them, got what we came for, and left. And it was a piece of cake. We can still do it this way. It's just a little bit more challenging. This part's the same either way inside.
You inside? There should be a lockbox somewhere there, with a laptop in it. That's what we're looking for.
You're still going to have the same number of guys in here, whether you came in quiet or loud. And as I mentioned, having only done this a time or two before, and we've done similar ones where it's the same concept. You come in an apartment and look for a duffel bag. We were both expecting to find some sort of duffel bag or a really tiny box, but it took us a while to figure out, no, that's not what we're looking for. So that's why we're both walking around the apartment like, what are we trying to find? But as we came out in the living room and saw the giant green trunk by the couch, then it made sense. That's what we're looking for.
You got it? Okay, now get out of there.
The rest of this is the part that would have been so much easier had we come in quietly and taken out the outside guards with suppressors.
Now lose any heat and bring that info in.
Thankfully, since it's easy to call Lester and lose your wanted level in a prep mission, that's what we did, and this was no big deal after all.
You don't want a back rub. How can I help? No problem. I'll get him off your back.
I'm still not sure what the hell is going on with Avon's militia. God, they're fucking weird. And this is coming from someone who surrounds himself with you wacky mutes.
So no terrible harm done, just got a little shot up there. And now as we're on our way back to the facility, there is a little more dialogue here from Lester. You know how he is, he's ranting.
Clones don't count, clones don't count. If If laying waste to Avon's workforce is keeping you up at night, which it shouldn't be, just tell yourself that clones don't count, and hope they're clones.
And that's it for this prep mission. We're just going to land our little buzzard here safely so we don't tear it up and we can use it again. And take that inside and we're all done. And as soon as we get in, the host will get one more message from Lester about what's coming up next in Act 3.
Okay, well, we'll analyze the laptop and find that test site. Stop by planning when you want to go tank shopping.
Prep onboard computer is different than any other prep mission in the Doomsday Heist because you have to complete the previous 5 preps and 4 setups before you can unlock this prep to move on to the last setup mission.
We need to bring down one of Avon's active jets. It'll have a frequency on the onboard computer we need to get inside his missile system, which we need to do if we want to destroy it. Okay, now crash that thing however you can. I just keep telling myself it's all gonna be worth it, wiping the grin off Avon's face and Clifford's whatever neural networks have instead of faces, huh? Yeah? Come on then! Let's get this done and find him!
I'll do my own little trip skip and get us right down to the jet.
There's the jet. He won't be able to lock on, but if you shoot him enough times, the pilot should make a ditch attempt over water. I know he's working for an emotionally detached AI, but he still went to flight school.
I honestly don't know if it's safe to use missiles here. I've always just used the machine guns.
You got it. It's going down. Follow the jet and wait for it to make a splash landing.
I don't know if using missiles would like explode it and then he could make his run to the water. So we've always just used the machine guns. And we did have a little bit of a snafu here. It didn't occur to me I wanted to be able to be the one to dive into the water and get the computer so that you could see it on this video. But I'm flying the buzzard here. So we followed him over here to the terminal and watched him head out to the water, and then I landed the buzzard and let my friend take over. So I'm going to cut a little bit of that just so I don't waste your time watching us switch around in the buzzard. But we'll watch the jet going down so we know where to go look for it. There'll be an icon too. And now we've switched. My friend is flying and he's going to take me right out here to the target and drop me right out. And Lester, I guess, provided me with rebreathers. Either that or I'm using ones I already own. So I'll just dive right in here and I have them. Now there's lots of plane wreckage here, but that little jet there is the one that we're going for. And boy am I glad there's no sharks in online, because as I recall, this part of the water is infested with them. So usually this is right side up. This one's upside down. And you can see the cockpit. If it were right side up, you would have seen the cockpit and the pilot and the module that you're coming to pick up. So this water's pretty deep. The last time I did this, the water wasn't even half this deep. The thing we forgot is there's a nasty helicopter that shows up right about here, and he lit me up. So it was a good thing my friend had our buzzard here. He came in and took care of the helicopter. And it just occurred to me one last really important thing that I have neglected to mention throughout this Act 3 Preps video is that you are in a public session, and it does notify all of the other players when you have picked up prep items. So be on the alert for strangers coming after you to steal your prep equipment. I'm just gonna sneak back over here to the shore where my pal Spudco's waiting for me, and he'll pick me up in this buzzard and we will head back to the facility. And once I get in here, we'll take off, and I'm gonna cut quite a bit of this trip, but I will come back on just before Lester gives us a little bit more dialogue, because I don't want you to miss any of the story. So here we'll go, skip ahead, and we're closer to the facility now.
The world's gonna end at some point, right? We may as well delay that by a little bit of time and have some money to spend while we wait. Let's get Avon and get our cash and get to the beach or wherever we relax. I try to avoid direct sunshine, actually.
That was the last of the preps for Act 3, the Doomsday Scenario. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the rest of my Doomsday Heist story series of videos, and there's lots of other videos on my channel you may also find helpful. A like for the video and a subscription to my channel would be greatly appreciated. Go forth and save Los Santos from Doomsday.